Hello YouTube, welcome to Formula 1 2017. Here we are at Circuit Villeneuve for the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. This great track is on an island just on the eastern edge of Montreal in the St. Lawrence River. What lovely scenery this track has to offer. So much green all around the track. It's quite calming to look at, and it's not gonna be calm for the next couple of hours as we're getting ready to bring the action here in Canada for Formula 1 is back in Canada. Qualifying is about to get underway here. Everybody has a 12-minute session to lay down the fastest lap time possible. Fastest lap time starts first in the race. We have 8 drivers here tonight, and everybody's ready to rumble. Per driver's preference, they have offered me to be in the party with them today, so they can hear my commentary, as apparently they enjoy that. So we're gonna see if the party is full right now, because a party can only hold a maximum of 8. I'm just seeing if all the drivers are in there. There's no rule that all drivers have to be in the party, but they just choose to be in a party for the most part to help with communication. So let's see what happens here. Kyle's in that party. That is okay. So, but per driver's preference, the next time there's less than 8 drivers, I will be in the party with them, so I can hear them and they can hear me. And now, out on the track, Brian Glennon has no-lifed the hell out of this game, and he is here at Circuit Villeneuve to set the fastest lap he can. Dan Park is out on his out lap. Steve Cross is on his out lap. He made his debut last week in Monaco, and I wasn't commentating in Monaco, but here he is, Steve Cross in the Williams, as well as Troy, the Aussie and New Zealander, alongside their teammates. So this is going to be a great combination we got here. You have Troy Salter in the Williams on his out lap, Tristan Allen in the Renault on his out lap. But Brian Glennon's now out of the hairpin, the carousel, and now down Casino Straight. Into the chicane. Does he avoid the wall of champions? He does, and he's going to start his first time to lap. Now watching Brian Glennon. Brian Glennon using a lot of that grass, gets into the concrete wall a little bit on the right side through turn 4. Out of 5 and now out of 6, down the short chute. This track has a select amount of decently sized straightaways and some pretty fun and insanely tough corners we got here. Joshua Ballier is on his out lap, as Kyle Petrie is as well. Kyle Petrie hasn't made a start since early this season, I believe since race 3 in China was his last start, or maybe race 2 at Bahrain. But here, Kyle Petrie back in his home race. Kyle Petrie from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, here for the Canadian Grand Prix. Brian Glennon now coming down the Casino Straight into the chicane, and into the wall of champions he goes, but does not make hard enough contact. His lap is going to be slower than most with a 1:13.896. Steve Cross comes to the start finish line, and he's going to set a 1:14.149. Now we watch Troy Salter coming down Casino Straight. The back wing is open. Dan Park with a 1:11.878. Troy Salter through the chicane, gets into the wall of champions slightly, coming to the start finish line. What lap time will he set? It'll be a 1:12.017, putting him second on the list. Who moved up to the top of the chart? Tyler Markle with a 111.585 to the top of the chart. And Tristan Alpha 112.762. Now we're watching Joshua Ballier. He's going to be the 7th driver to set a lap here. He's coming up on a Renault. Oh, and he gets into the wall in turn 9. That's a rare mistake out of Joshua Ballier. He comes up quick on the Renault. He gets out of the hairpin nice and smooth. Now down Casino straight he goes. And Joshua Ballier sets a lap that does not go up on the board just yet, I guess. Okay. So now Joshua Ballier is on his lap. Let's go on board with Joshua Ballier. He comes rocketing through turns 3 and 4. Turn 5 into turn 6. The little chicane and onto the short chute. Under the bridge and into turn 8. He again hard into the turn 9 wall. That is going to be Ballier's Achilles heel for today's race. Full walk to the right as they go into the hairpin. Down Casino straightaway. Where does Ballier come out? Getting the DRS back wing open. Into the chicane he goes. He's got to avoid the wall of champions. He does successfully. No, he wrecks it a little bit. He's able to keep the car straight. They have to overcorrect the car. 111.738 puts him 3rd on the board ahead of Dan Park. Kyle Petrie for 113.112. Brian Glennon's out on another outlap, going for a 2nd attempt. And he overcooks it into the hairpin. At least it's his outlap. It's not going to mean too much to him. He breaks into the chicane. Trying to avoid the wall of champions. Loose. Doesn't hit DRS. That's going to give him a pretty bad start to his lap. Here comes Dan Park, I'm assuming, to start finish line. Does not improve. Back to Brian Glennon, 7th fastest on the board. Kyle Petrie set a 112.265. Tyler Markle's out on an outlap. Oh, and here comes the McLaren. Dan Park trying to set a faster lap. Clearly faster than BG. I think BG's going back to the pits. He's overcooked the brakes in the hairpin, so that's not giving him a good one. And we're getting Troy Salter out on the track. Tyler Markle coming up to the hairpin. Full lock to the right. He's still at a slow speed, was not able to get there. He is really going to give him some nice room here. Here comes Dan Park. He's trying everything he can here to get the best starting spot he can. Because he knows he is 66 points behind Joshua Ballier in the championship. He needs the best result he can get over Ballier. And to the line, a 111.601 puts him 2nd on the board. That may be all she's written for Dan Park. Comes Tyler Markle trying to get up to speed before Brian Glennon gets to him. Into the chicane he goes, avoiding the wall of champions. You're gonna hear me call that the Wall of Champions a lot, because that's what it is called, and that's where a lot of champions have placed their cars, and not on purpose. Oh! He spun it on his lap! Tyler Markle spun out on his lap. He's destroyed the wing, and that may be all she's in for Tyler. Troy Salter, I think, is trying to get back around the track to set another lap. Here goes Brian Glennon again. He's trying to improve his time as best as he can, but it's not gonna happen, I don't think. Troy Salter's letting everybody go through, trying to get the best lap he can. Here comes Troy Salter up to speed. Everybody's giving it one last hoorah. Dan Park does not improve. Here comes Troy Salter into the Senna's S. He lags a little bit into the Senna S curb. That's what it's called, my bad. And then the turn 3, and around he goes with Dan Park. And Brian Glennon's wrecked Joshua Ballier. Don't know what he was trying to do. Troy Salter coming down the Casino Straight. He's not using DRS. It's not gonna help him. I think he's giving up. Yeah, he's to the pits he goes. Comes Tristan Allen, one last hoorah on his lap down the Casino straightaway he comes. It's gonna be all she wrote for Canada. Tristan Allen with P6. See, Steve Cross can gain anything he gains, but it's not enough. P8 for Steve Cross. Joshua Ballier is going to crawl across the line. Brian Glennon out of gas, out of here. Joshua Ballier's crossed the line. That is all she wrote for the Canadian Grand Prix qualification round. Here we go. We have Tyler Markle starting on pole. No, and alongside of him, Dan Park in second. Tyler Markle in the Renault, Dan Park in the McLaren. In row 2, we have Troy Salter in the Williams and Joshua Ballier in the McLaren. In row 3, we have the native, Kyle Petrie in the Force India and Tristan Allen in the Renault. And in row 4, we have Brian Glennon in the Toro Rosso and Steve Cross in the Williams. But Brian Glennon will be set to the rear with a 5-place grid penalty that will actually only penalize him one more spot in the same row. He did wreck with Joshua Ballier, so it's not going to be that much of an effect for Brian Glennon. Oh, and it's raining. Well, this is going to be a fun race. Everybody loves the rain. It looks like it's downpouring. This is going to be fun. These rain races can get quite boring, but Canada is an exception. Here you go. The drivers are going to be going on their formation laps here. Everybody's starting at intermediate, so it's not that bad of weather to start off with, I guess. Paramount does not take part in his formation lap. Steve Cross, that is, in the Williams. Tyler Markle trying to make this Tokyo drift in Montreal. So we're having 70 laps here in Montreal at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. It says Parc Jean Dropla. Oh man, I don't remember. Tyler Markle taking his formation lap serious as can be, getting the most out of his tires and car he can. Don't know how many people are actually ready for this. I can guarantee probably not many. Kyle Petrie in the Force India, first race back, native to this country, not native to the territory in Canada, but nonetheless. Kyle Petrie from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. He will be starting on the third row on the inside for Force India, taking place here at the Canadian Grand Prix, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Here we go. And it's time to bring the action. It's going to be a wet start for all these drivers. And the lights start counting off. 5 red lights. And it's lights out, and away we go. Tyler Markle getting off the line, making it a tough start. Here comes Dan Park around the outside, but no, he can't stay there. Here comes Troy Salter to the inside of Dan Park. Dan Park with the preferred line in the turn 2. Troy Salter gives him a little bump in the back. Tyler Markle's able to pull away a little bit. Joshua Ballier watching this all in fourth. Steve Cross able to keep in front of Tristan Allen now into turn 3. Dan Park losing spots big time. Maybe had an issue in turn 3, but now he's back to 5th. He started 2nd. Oh, Kyle Petrie into the wall. 3 wide behind him. Steve Cross in 5th. Tristan Allen 6th. Kyle Petrie now battling it for 7th with Brian Glennon. Brian Glennon now takes it to 7th. Tristan Allen now battling with Steve Cross down the short chute to turn 8. Trying to get to the inside, almost makes contact with Steve Cross, but doesn't. Steve Cross is able to fend off Tristan Allen. Dan Park now going to try to chase down the leaders. We got a group of cars here. Joshua Ballier gets into the back of Tyler Markle. Here goes Troy Salter on the inside. Troy Salter to 2nd. Now they come to Casino straightaway. There's a caution in sector 3. Brian Glennon's overcooked it again, and he's probably overcooked, and he's gone off here in the hairpin. Tyler Markle continues to lead down the backstretch of Casino straightaway, basically. It is the backstretch, and Troy Salter have a huge cut. 3-second time penalty. Tyler Markle into the wall of champions. Troy Salter to the lead. And wow, everybody can't avoid that wall of champions here in the rain. It's hard for everybody. Joshua Ballier with the fastest lap to start off with a 1:36.820. Joshua Ballier holds the lead here. Troy Salter did have the lead, got a 3-second time penalty, and then lost spots from that. I don't think he could break. I think that's why he cut the corner. Tyler Markle hanging tough on Dan Park. Now Dan Park able to get up to 2nd. No, not clear. Tyler Markle fighting back. Caution in sector 1. And it would be Steve Cross going around. Can he get it back going? Turn 4. And he's gone from the scene. It's a battle for 2nd still with Dan Park and Tyler Markle. Troy Salter lurking in the background. Dan Park takes a shorter line through that corner. I don't know how the stewards are like that, but nonetheless, it's raining. It's harsh conditions out there, and these drivers are giving it their all. It's making it entertaining. Tyler Markle trying to get any advantage she can under braking, but just can't outbrake Dan Park into the hairpin. Here comes Troy Salter. Kyle Petrie sitting fancy in 5th. Now looking to make an overtake on Troy Salter all the way with Kyle Petrie. Down the inside, he's looking for the chicane that leads to the Wall of Champions. What will happen here? Into the chicane. Dan gets a 3-second time penalty for cutting the corner. Kyle Petrie almost completes the pass, but he actually ends up giving it back up to Troy Salter. Joshua Ballet continues to lead. Oh, there's contact between Dan Park and Tyler Markle. Dan gets on the accelerator first, but Markle's still there. He's fighting back. Here he comes, looking to the inside into turn 3. He doesn't make as an aggressive move as he would have, I think, if it would have first lap. Right now, lap 3 of 70 here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. No, Tyler Markle's gotten loose. And now here comes Troy Salter to 3rd place. Tyler's just going to be a little bit lenient here and give up the position to Troy. Here comes Kyle Petrie. He's looking to make an overtake here on Tyler Markle as they come under the bridge into turn 8. Again, Kyle Petrie, born within this country's borders here. Here comes Kyle Petrie down the inside into the hairpin. Can he make the corner? He overcooks it. Tyler Markle gets the spot back on our crossover. And Joshua Ballet now has a 2-second lead over Dan Park. Troy Salter sitting back 3.25 seconds back from Joshua Ballet. And Tyler Markle looking to get back around Troy Salter. Joshua Ballet with the fastest lap of a 127.101 on the intermediate compound for McLaren Honda Formula 1 team. Brian Glennon with the fastest lap of a 126.975 on the intermediate compound for Scuderia Toro Rosso. I feel like he hit the wall he hit the Wall of Champions though, so I don't know how valid his lap is, but we'll take it for now. Kyle Petrie got on the gas a little hard there and was just experiencing a lot of oversteer there. It's treacherous conditions out here. It's intermediate tires. The tires aren't gripping enough. I don't know if they have to go to heavy wet tires, but it does look insane for these drivers to be pushing the way they are and just be fine of it, not to be worried. I'm sure they're worried. They're going over the edge. They're very edgy if they're driving here, and it's just it's insane to watch these guys just do this. I mean, they've been exposed to so much dry racing this season. I don't think there's been a wet race this season besides Spain, but Spain only was wet and wasn't that wet. This looks like a downpour and it's starting to drench the track. We might have to go to wet tires, but it looks like intermediates are going to be doing the trick just fine. If you think anybody's making any indents on the lead that Joshua Ballet has, it's nobody. Even Dan Park's losing time to Joshua Ballet. Tyler Markle with the fastest lap of a 126.929 on the intermediate compound for Renault Sport Formula 1 team. He's trying to get back around Troy Salter. Can he do it anytime soon? I don't believe so. But Dan Park's even losing time to Joshua Ballet. That means Ballier has this race nailed down. He's just now running away with it at this point, but it looks like Dan gained a little bit of time to him this time through Sector 1. I don't know how Ballier fares from Sector 1 to the rest of the track, but it is a bit more tougher through Sector 1 than it is like in Sector 2 is mostly a small corner. Sector 3 is a bunch of straightaways. Into the hairpin, Tyler Markle down the inside of Troy Salter, takes him wide, does complete the pass though, but invites Kyle Petrie into the mix. Kind of a dirty move, I would say, but it gets him the spot, and that's all Tyler Markle wants. I guess he doesn't care what other people think of it, putting Tyler Markle up to third in the Renault. Here comes Troy Salter, back down the inside, lurking, but does not make the move. Thinks it's over aggressive, and rightfully so. In the rain, treacherous conditions might have just put it into Wall of Champions and might have been done for today. Dan Park with 126.378 on the intermediate compound for McLaren Honda Formula 1 team. Fastest lap of the day thus far. Troy Salter gives Tyler Markle a little bit of a bump through turn 2 there. Tyler Markle now taking somewhat of a defensive line, but not too defensive. He's not too worried about Troy Salter, and it's just being shown by the line he's taking Ivor Vader. He's just trying to survive in these treacherous conditions, tiptoeing the car through these very, very sketchy corners, I would say. Kyle Petrie almost taking a slip angle into the corners. Like, insane. Like, he's trying to Tokyo drift this track out here in turn 5 and 6. Entering turn 5, I should say, under the bridge. Tyler Markle now opening up a little bit of a gap. Dan Park, Tyler Markle with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Dan Park has definitely closed the gap to Joshua Bailey. I think Dan just needed to get it into his rhythm to gain any time on Joshua Bailey. Now Tyler Markle bites the dust with a 3-second time penalty. Now he's gonna, I mean, we still have 65 laps of racing. This time it was 64 laps of racing, and he already has a 3-second time penalty. Who says he's not going to get any more? He's going to have to be cautious for the rest of the race, and I believe he can go the rest of the race without getting any more, but this is Canada. This is a very aggressive lead. Dan Park of a 126 point. Troy Salter of a 126.091 on the intermediate compound. Down the inside into turn 1 he goes. Now looking around the outside, trying to make a crossover. Kyle's there through turn 2. The Senna S curb to turn 3. Now Tyler Markle's a little bit worried. Takes the defensive line into 3. Troy Salter coming back hard through 4. Major oversteer for all 3 of these drivers. Now looking through 5. Here they come through 6. Kyle Petrie to 4th. Kyle Petrie has a strong showing. He hasn't been here for a while, but that has not stopped him from showing his speed today here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. In the turn 8, under the bridge. And now Kyle Petrie's going to have his crack of attempts at Tyler Markle before Troy Salter makes a move back on Kyle Petrie. Or is Kyle Petrie already busy with Troy Salter's overtaking attempts? As we see into the hairpin, not really that big of an attempt from Troy Salter. No, it's a huge attempt. He gets to the inside and actually just does worse for both of them. Loses both of them time to Tyler Markle. Now Tyler Markle setting sail away from this group of cars, and he's out of here. He's working on his own race. Dan Park is closing the gap to Joshua Ballier. Now it's a second. Oh, it's just over a second this time. He's closing the gap big time. Looks like Joshua Ballier had some trouble on the final corner, turn 13, to Brian Glenn with a 3-second time penalty from multiple warnings. And this is just getting started. 63 laps of racing to go. And it's at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. What a great track. The scenery is beautiful. Even more beautiful when it has that little bit of moisture to it. The gap is now 1.26 seconds between Ballier and Dan Park. Can Dan Park get to Ballier? I don't think anybody else is going to be able to challenge for the lead today. Now we're watching Dan Park doing his finest work. He makes this huge indents. I feel like he outbrakes Ballier into the hairpin. He gets on the gas better than him, I believe. I feel like he loses a lot of time actually in the center of the hairpin. And looks like Ballier actually got a better exit that time. You see the gap in the top left just opening up this time. Let's see if Ballier makes any mistakes this time. We're riding on board with Dan Park. These are teammates in the McLaren Honda F1 team. Dan just gets through there better, so much better. And Tyler Markle now being overtaken on the left side. Kyle Petrie. Tyler Markle may have made a mistake, or Kyle Petrie just got through there better. Now down the inside, Kyle Petrie, is he clear? Tyler Markle, he brake checks him for good luck and clears him through turn 2. Now Tyler Markle now under attack from Troy Salter. And this battle is going to be raging on throughout the day. I don't think either of these three are done battling each other. And Troy Salter in the grass trying to make an overtake attempt on Tyler Markle. Tyler Markle looking to get back at Kyle Petrie. But Kyle Petrie having a strong showing now on the podium for his home race. In the turn 8. who can get out of turn 9 better. And from turn 9 to the start-finish line, it is a long stretch of straightaways and tight corners. Now into the hairpin, wheel locked to the right. Troy Salter sticks his nose in there. Now looking to get fourth from Tyler Markle. Does not do so just yet. But now Tyler Markle's losing down to Kyle Petrie, who sat third on the podium. The battle for the lead is starting to heat up. Dan Park can now see the marks on that gearbox of his teammate Joshua Ballier. The gap is now less than half a second, now over half a second. Things are starting to heat up here in Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Gotta be careful, these are treacherous conditions, but who can get through this track faster than the other without making a mistake? That is the key. Speed and no mistakes. That's literally how you run almost every F1 race, but it's 10 times more important when it's raining because you lose so much more time by being a little bit slower and also making a mistake. Now the gap 0.6 of a second into the hairpin. Who can get through here better? Wheel full lock to the right. He gets on the gas quick. Trying to get a better exit to Ballier, but Ballier's out of here. Now Dan with the speed down Casino Straight. Into the chicane. Turn 12 and 13. Ballier makes a huge mistake. Avoiding the wall of champions. Around the left side goes Dan Park and clear of his teammate Joshua Ballier to the lead. Dan Park here in Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Troy Salter with the fastest lap of a 1:25.570 on the intermediate compound for Williams Racing. Ballier tried to stick his nose back under his teammate through turn 2, but Dan Park is out of here through the short chute to turn 3 and out of 4, and he just continues to pull on his teammate Joshua Ballier, but it's not done. Dan Park could make a mistake. It is not over. As racing continues, still for the next 59 laps, 60 laps actually, 59 this time back at the start finish line. Now on board with Dan Park. As you're seeing Joshua Ballier recede into the distance. Ballier made a huge mistake coming off of turn 13, and that was all she wrote for Ballier for this part of the race. Or is it? Ballier can outbrake Dan Park through this part of the track, but I think he overcooked it just enough for Dan to get out of there. Down Casino Straight, if the track were dry, Ballier would have DRS. Half a second is the gap between Dan Park and Ballier continues to close even though he overcooked it into the hairpin. Here he comes into the chicane, turn 12, turn 13. Ballier getting back to his teammate, puts the wing to his gearbox. It is not over. That's not all she wrote. She keeps writing. She just had to put the book down, the pen down for a second. Here comes Ballier trying to get back around his teammate through turn 2. Trying to take a better line. Dan taking a more defensive line. Brian Glenn for 125.546 on the intermediate compound for Scuderia Toro Rosso. Caution in sector 1. And around goes Kyle Petrie, Canadian native. Goes from 3rd to 5th. Heartbreaking disappointment for Kyle Petrie. But it's not over. You can get a safety car. This race is far from over. 59 laps left of racing. He can get back up there, and I believe in Kyle. Back to the lead. Teammates throwing the front wing to each other here. Ballier's not done. He's not giving up. He's fighting because Ballier winning another race over Dan Park could be determining his season, and Brian Glennon has left the session. Don't know what happened. Dan Park opening up the lead a little bit, but here comes Ballier. He's able to get a better exit out of the hairpin, and here he comes chasing Dan back down through Casino Straight. Ballier isn't able to get any advantage out of the chicane. Now Dan Park opening the gap a big this time, 0.8 of a second. Is this a gap he can come back from this lap? Troy Salter for 125.402 on the intermediate compound for Williams Racing. Is it starting to dry out there? Joshua Ballier now cuts it back down to half a second. It's not over. We got a great battle for third. It's Troy Salter sticking his nose under Tyler Markle. Side by side out of turn 7 down to short shoot. Troy Salter to the left side, Tyler Markle to the right side, and Joshua Ballier with a 3-second time penalty. What a killer. He's battling his teammate for the lead and is pushing it just too much. Multiple warnings is the reason for the 3-second time penalty on Joshua Ballier. Troy Salter now rocketing off of turn 9, trying to find a way around Tyler Markle, looking to the inside of Tyler Markle into the hairpin. Full lock to the right goes Troy Salter. Tyler Markle looking for a crossover. More full lock to the right, if that's even possible. Now down Casino straightaway, still side by side. Tyler Markle looking to keep third. Troy Salter looking to get the slipstream. Now down, Markle taking a somewhat defensive line down to Casino Straight, but giving them the inside now this time as they head down Casino Straight into the chicane. Troy Salter the preferred line through 12 and cuts them off through 13 to avoid the wall of champions. Tyler Markle getting very slow through that corner. Going very slow through that corner, and Troy Salter said, "See you later. Thanks for third and a podium." Does Tyler Markle write a postcard back to Troy Salter, or is he done? We'll see. We're at lap 14 of 70, 57 laps left of great racing here in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Is Tyler Markle done? He's trying to come back. Brian Glennon's joined the race again. Connection, and he's left it again. Connection issues for Brian Glennon's Toro Rosso. And he's joined again. Okay, that's fun. Just watch that there on the bottom to see him join and leave. Here comes Tyler Markle trying to get back to Troy Salter. Going to get a better exit out of turn 9. Now down the short straightaway. His entry into the hairpin is all but most important for Tyler Markle this lap of all any other laps if he's going to get back to Troy Salter this time. Down Casino straightaway. It's all about the exit Tyler Markle got. Keeping it classy. 0.7 of a second. Trying to close the gap. Entering the chicane. Getting really close. Maybe even kiss the wall of champions there. Kyle Petrie pits. Is it that time? Did the track dry up already? He's putting out the soft compound. May have this one Kyle to race. Those tires are going to have to get warm on a still somewhat damp track. Back to the battle for the lead. It's now just under 0.4 of a second. Ballier is not done. As we all thought. Here comes Ballier back on his teammate Dan Park. Now down to short shoot 2.5 of a second. Ballier still ain't done. Into turn 8. Does he give him the front wing? No, he doesn't just yet. Who can get a better exit through turn 9? Ballier's Achilles heel through turn 9. But looks like he got through there just fine. Now maintaining now under 0.2 of a second. Under 1.5. Looking to get to the inside of Dan Park. He's trying to stick his front wing under there. He can't get there just enough. Is he? No. Dan Park clears him on the exit onto Casino straightaway. Ballier looking for any advantage he can get as they're going to be approaching the chicane that leads to the wall of champions. Now side by side down the straightaway. Who's going to pit? It's going to be Ballier into pit lane, and Dan Park has to brake and stays on the track. Takes the lead yet again. Now, does Ballier pitting this lap give Dan Park or Joshua Ballier the advantage? And Troy Salter, heartbreak, 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Heartbreak again. Tyler Markle pits. Tristan Allen stays out on the track. Tyler Markle putting on the ultra soft compound. Ballier putting on the ultra softs. And Ballier is going to be racing Tristan Allen, I believe. Now you're seeing the mixed bag of dry tires people have chosen and intermediates that are still out on the track. It's Dan Park, Troy Salter, Tristan Allen, and Brian Glenn who have yet to pit for a dry compound tire. And now you're watching racing here between Ballier, who's on fresh Ultra Softs, and Tristan Allen, who is on used Inters on a damp track. DRS has been enabled. Steve Cross is 1 lap down to Dan Park, but he will be able to get that lap back as Steve Cross has made his pit stop. Dan Park has yet to. Here comes Dan Park. Troy Salter should be pitting this lap. Here comes Troy Salter. Tristan Allen should be pitting this lap. Here comes Joshua Ballier. It's all about the race between Ballier and Dan Park. Dan Park on the Ultra Softs. Here comes Ballier, but he's got to slow down for the corner. Dan gets to cut the corner. Through turn 2, it's going to be Dan Park edging out his teammate Joshua Ballier, and the brown goes Ballier. Trying to get any advantage he could. The stick of his teammate, and he pushed it a little too hard. And Kyle Petrie at the fastest lap of a 125.229 on the soft compound for Sahara Force India F1 team. And wow, Ballier had a chance to battle his teammate Dan Park, but pushed it a little too hard and spun it out. Troy Salter sitting pretty in third. Tyler Markle losing control and makes contact with Kyle Petrie. Around goes Tyler Markle in turn 5. Man, oh man, this is insane. Everybody's pushing it just a little too hard, more than these tires can handle. The track is still damp. Look at your tires. They're still expelling water that they can't even expel. These drivers are pushing these cars to the limit and then beyond. Does Kyle Petrie have wing damage? You can see that right front of the wing is damaged. Does he pit for it? What does Kyle Petrie do? He stays out with it. See if he can avoid the wall of champions. He does. Tyler Markle pits because he damaged a good part of his front wing. Dan Park now with a 7.5 second lead. Joshua Ballier is closing the gap to Dan Park. Ballier's tires are up to speed. They're warm, up to temperature. They're in use right now. Maybe he just takes the track better than Dan. Who knows? But right now, 7.5 tenths is the gap. It used to be over 8 seconds. And Brian Glennon with the fastest lap of a 122.114 on the Ultrasoft compound for Scuderia Toro Rosso. Fastest lap right now. Tyler Markle onto the super soft compound. Now you see the mixed bag of strategies. 6 Ultrasofts, a super soft, and a soft. See Ballier, you saw Ballier on your screen. Now you're watching Troy Salter and Steve Cross making his second race of the season with a 121.594 on the Ultrasoft compound for Williams Racing. Dan Park for 120.646 on the Ultrasoft compound for McLaren Honda Formula 1 team. Joshua Ballier for 120.178 on the Ultrasoft compound for McLaren Honda Formula 1 team. These fastest laps keep getting faster and faster because the track is just drying up and the track's becoming more usable. Kyle Petrie staying out there, hanging tough. It is now Brian Glennon and Tyler Markle going toe-to-toe for 6th place. This is not what Markle wanted to see or who he wanted to see. Tyler Markle was able to get around Brian Glennon, giving him a little bit of a dirty move. Markle's been dirty a lot of this race. He was dirty against Troy Salter, giving a little bit dirty against Brian Glennon, not giving him much room into the chicane. But that's racing, I guess. Ballier does look to be a little bit faster than Dan Park, as you saw right there. He was anyway. Let's look at where everybody is compared to where they started. Dan Park up 1, Ballier up 2, Tristan Allen up 2, Tyler Markle down 5, Brian Glennon up 1, and Steve Cross at the fastest lap of a 120.015. Dan Park for 118.360 for on the Ultrasoft compound for McLaren Honda Formula 1 team, and Joshua Ballier for 118.102 on the Ultrasoft compound for McLaren Honda Formula 1 team. The gap is 7 seconds. He spun himself out trying to race his teammate, but can he come back? It's now 6.9 seconds. He's for Ballier. 6.8. It keeps getting smaller. 6.7. Every time it updates, 6.6. Dan Park is in trouble if he wants to win this race. 6.5. 6.4. What is Dan doing? Tyler Markle for 117.458 on the super soft compound for Renault Sport Formula 1 team. Now 6.7 the gap between Dan Park and Joshua Ballier. This time by will be 50 laps to go here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve on the eastern side of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, on Parc Jean Duplay, on an island in the St. Lawrence River. Dan Park for 116.757 on the Ultrasoft compound for McLaren Honda Formula 1 team. Joshua Ballier for 116.262 on the Ultrasoft compound for the McLaren Honda Formula 1 team. These two drivers are extremely talented drivers, extremely fast drivers. They are outperforming what their cars would be doing in real life. As you can see, they put on a set of Ultras and they're instantly beating the rest of the field, even though there's 4 other drivers on Ultrasofts. I mean, these two are the class of the field. Between each other, Ballier spun his car out, but he's still 6 seconds ahead of the rest. 6 seconds ahead of third. Tyler Markle for 115.229 on the super soft compound for Renault Sport Formula 1 team. He now is behind. He's had to make an extra pit stop he's on the super soft compound. Will he be able to come back? He desperately wants a safety car to get back into this race. What will come Tyler Markle's way if he will be able to win this race? We'll see what happens. Dan Park putting on a stellar drive, looking to come lap Steve Cross. No faster lap that time for Dan Park. Here comes Joshua Ballier across the line, a 115.191. The Ultrasoft compound in use for the McLaren Honda Formula 1 team driver, Joshua Ballier. Kyle Petrie got in some trouble early, got involved in a turn 5 accident with Tyler Markle, who lost control on dry tires on a wet track. Damp track, not wet. And it just did not go Kyle's way. He lost part of his right front of the wing, and it's just still not going his way. He's hanging tough out there, 28 seconds off the pace, but he's hoping for a safety car, hoping to get back into this with a safety car to nice, timely pit stop. Tyler Markle's looking to get back into this race, just racing his way back into the mix. 42 seconds off the pace, and Steve Cross a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Here comes Dan Park. He's getting ready to get lapped. Steve Cross is getting ready to get lapped by Dan Park. Dan Park with a 115.041 on the Ultrasoft compound for McLaren Honda Formula 1 team. Dan Park, now he was being caught heavily in. Joshua Ballier, another 3-second time penalty. Multiple warnings. This is just biting Ballier in the ass. Troy Salt with a 3-second time penalty. Multiple warnings. Everybody's just not giving a damn about the track limits. Everybody's just going all over the place, just trying to get what they can, but it's not suiting well with the stewards. Dan Park now coming up to lap traffic. Steve Cross will be getting the blue flag momentarily now. And another 3-second time penalty for corner cutting for Steve Cross. Dan Park is so much faster, blazing around the track, and he's getting ready to lap his first driver of the day. 24, maybe 25 laps in. Depends when he catches him. Looks like it'll be 24 though. And he lets him by. I don't even know if he got blue flagged yet, but what a guy. He's a really nice guy. I feel like he's misunderstood. Dan Park getting a little bit of oversteer. And that's a huge mistake, costly mistake that'll probably get Joshua Ballier into the mix yet again. See right there, half a second, maybe more, a whole second. And it went from 7.3 seconds to 5.8 seconds. Huge mistake out of Dan Park. Just getting caught up in lap traffic got him out of his rhythm, and it set him back. Now the gap is 6 seconds when it used to be 7, almost 7.5. Now 5.8 seconds. Dan's having to find his rhythm again, and Ballier's in his rhythm probably, but Ballier's gonna have to deal with the same lap traffic Dan Park just dealt with. And I mean, I'm not saying that he's been bad. He followed the rules. He did it well. But it's just being lap traffic distracts a driver who's already in his rhythm. Nothing's wrong with Steve Cross being lapped here. Now, it's wrong for him. He doesn't want to be lapped, but him getting lapped, he's respecting the rules well. He's respecting the drivers well. It's just the drivers who are already in a rhythm getting their getting out of that rhythm by having to meet a lap car, and it's just not going their way. So it just depends on how you react to a lap car that gets the job done here. Valley is catching up to that same lap traffic. So Dan Park is looking to get back into his rhythm. I think he has. The gap is sitting steady at 5.8 seconds. Here comes Ballier through the chicane. Now coming to lap 27. He will probably be lapping Steve Cross this lap if he maintains this pace. And Ballier takes turn 2 so beautifully, riding the curb just enough to make the car turn. Steve Cross, getting in the way a little bit, makes contact with Ballier. What a guy. We were just talking about him respecting the rules and everything, and he makes contact with one of the leaders. Huge setback for Ballier. Now 7.4 seconds is the gap. Lap traffic, not helpful for Ballier. Not helpful for Dan Park, and it puts the race back into the same position it was before they caught lap traffic. I don't know if Steve Cross just didn't realize it, or he was minding his own business. It was a little sad to see that happen there, but it happens. It happens to the best of them, and Ballier just had nowhere to go. He was at the wrong place at the wrong time to catch lap traffic. Now falling to almost 8 seconds. Caution in sector 2. Calapitri's out of the race. The native from Toronto, Ontario, Canada is out of here. This could be a safety car. Not shown yet. Nobody's calling it yet. This may not be a safety car. And he's out of here. Safety car is deployed. And this saves the race for everyone. Dan Park had an 11.5 second lead. Now he's got to stay within a delta time. Wow. And Tyler Markle gets a penalty for speeding under the safety car. He sped in the pit lane. What a guy. Brian Glennon actually slows down. Does not get the same penalty. You know who this helps? Steve Cross is probably going to get back on the lead lap. If he does this right. So Tyler Markle gets the pit. Brian Glennon gets the pit. They're both on a fresh set of super soft tires. Here comes Dan Park. Does he pit? He does. He has a 10-second lead over his teammate Joshua Ballier. Does Ballier come in behind him? He does. They're going to have to stack it. This might not work out. There goes Dan Park. They were ready for him. They made it work. Looks like Dan Park keeps the lead over Troy Salter, but Troy Salter jumps Joshua Ballier, but Troy Salter has yet to pit. And now Steve Cross is the first car behind the safety car. And he's getting his lap back. He's getting to pass the safety car. He played it smart. He understands the rules. What a guy. There he goes, getting his lap back. So now this safety car is a huge factor for everybody to get back into this race. Even Steve Cross, who maybe just took those first few laps and kind of gave up because he was so far behind, maybe now he'll have something to compete with. Knowing how the track layout is, Troy Salter has yet to pit. Will he pit is the question. He's sitting second behind Dan Park. Dan has already pitted, so he will lose time, more time to Dan pitting now than he would have already. So does Troy Salter pit for a fresh set of tires? He's on the Ultra Soft compound, but Dan Park is also on a fresh set. Joshua Ballier is on a set of Supers, and Tristan Allen's on a set of Ultras. Troy Salter stays out on his used set of Ultra Soft tires. And you see these three are the ones up here behind the safety car. We're still waiting for the rest of the queue to queue up, the rest of the field to queue up with the safety cars. Both the Renaults in 4th and 5th, catching up to the safety car nose to tail. I don't know what Tristan Allen's trying to do, or I mean Tyler Markle trying to pass Tristan Allen under the safety car. You're going to be under the safety car for a little bit, as we are going to have to wait for Steve Cross to queue up with the rest of the field. Tristan Allen's getting up there. He's starting to queue up with the field here. Tyler Markle right behind, gonna queue up. Brian Glennon's caught up. He's gonna queue up here. So the safety car will at least stay out once more for Steve Cross to get queued up here. So this gives us a little downtime. And you see the whole field. I don't know what they're trying to do, but they're taking the inside of the track here compared to the preferred line. I don't know why they would run off the groove and pick up more debris and dirt on their tires than clean tires, but that's their decision. So working our first safety car period of the day, we will be going green with 40 laps remaining. Are they trying to double up here? I think that's what they're trying to do, but they're not able to do it. They're just staying as close as they can, which if I were one of them, I wouldn't, because what if the game lags or suddenly brake checks and there goes my front wing? So I wouldn't want to do that. You see Troy Salter lagging a little bit. I would not want to be Joshua Ballier all up right beyond the gearbox of Troy Salter. We're just waiting for Steve Cross to queue up with the field here. He's getting closer and closer. We should be able to go green this time by. The safety car is going in this time. Steve Cross is going to be really close on queuing up. He's going to be trying. I think he's going to barely get there. It's going to be close, but he might have an advantage to the rest of the field. He's going to be close, but I feel like he's going to be just happy to be back on the lead lap. Green flag back in here. Dan Park leads the field back to green over Troy Salter and Brian Glennon hard into the wall of champions. Here comes Steve Cross on the left side against Brian Glennon. He made heavy contact with the wall of champions here. Now on board with Tristan Allen, fighting hard to get up to Joshua Ballier and have his say into this race. He hasn't made any heroic moves this race yet, hasn't shown his strength yet, but he is riding in fourth now. See, Tyler Markle, he's going to be making his best efforts to get around Tristan Allen here. The top 5 are still queued up as they were from the safety car. I don't think anybody's made an attempt to pass. You see the tires, and whoa, there goes Tyler Markle into the pits. I think he's serving a penalty. Dan Park for 114.646 on the Ultra Soft compound for McLaren Honda Formula 1 team. Can't understand why Tyler Markle pitted, but he is now in 7th place. Still on the Super Soft compound. The drive-through penalty. Oh, drive-through penalty for swinging under safety car. That's right. Dan Park now with a 1 1/4 second lead, 1 1/3 second lead over Troy Salter. Troy Salter's shown his muscles everywhere else on this circuit, on this schedule. Can he show his muscles here at Canada? He's now not really gaining time to Dan Park, but he's not really losing that much. But he is going to be under attack from Joshua Ballier soon here. Here comes Ballier, getting a nice exit out of the hairpin, turn 10. Down to Casino Straight. Is Ballier going to be on the aggressive? Looking down the inside, looking to turn 12. Does not get to the inside of Troy Salter just yet. Tristan Allen makes a little bit of contact with the wall of champions. Ballier on the aggressive, but not over-aggressive. Over-aggressive and aggressive, the key words. Gotta say, Troy Salter's under a lot of pressure. He's now lost a lot of time to Dan Park. Troy Salter's under a lot of pressure just to stay perfect. Is he really trying that hard to defend the position, you might ask? Joshua Ballier sitting tight in 3rd place, looking and waiting for any mistake that Troy Salter can make that will allow Ballier to get to 2nd and try to get back to his teammate, because Ballier knows he has the same speed as his teammate Dan Park. But can he show that same speed? And he gets there, gets around Troy Salter. Can he get around him actually? They're still side by side down Casino straight away through turn 11. Ballier with the DRS. This may put Troy Salter now behind Ballier. Will Troy Salter try to dive it into the corner? He's going to get there, but he's not going to try to make a move. No, he does. Going to the right side. Gets a better exit out of the turn 13. And into turn 1, they're going to be side by side. Ballier with the preferred line. Now into turn 2. Salter, the preferred line, still side by side. They're going to be hanging tough side by side down the short chute. Into turn 3 through 3, DHL sector. Salter at the better line, but looks like Ballier. Oh! They make contact. The front wing gets shaved off on Troy Salter's car. And around goes Brian Glennon. Tough break for the kid. Back to the battle for second. Now it's a 3-car battle for second. It's Joshua Ballier, who's actually gotten around Troy Salter, and he's staying ahead of Troy Salter. Now it's Troy Salter and Tristan Allen. Now they're going to be battling it out for third place, but neither of them have really shown their muscles against the leaders today. Troy Salter a little bit against Joshua Ballier, but was not able to defend him long enough, and Ballier was able to get around Troy Salter and get out of there. Dan Park with a 114.526 on the Ultrasoft compound from McLaren Honda Formula 1 team. Halfway next time by. Tristan Allen to third, does not overcook it. Troy Salter looking to get the undercut. The crossover does not work just yet. Salter still there, putting pressure on Allen. Salter trying to get around Tristan Allen into turn 6. Can't get his front wing to his inside. Through turn 7, they're sliding. Out of turn 7, Allen gets a better exit. Salter's going to be all over that gearbox, trying to get the slipstream. Is it going to help him? Looked like Salter really isn't able to get as much of an advantage as he'd like. Through turn 9. Turn 9 is very treacherous and tricky. It looks like they got through there nice and smooth into the hairpin. Turn 10 is going to be full lock to the right. Who can get through here better? The better exit is the one who gets the reward. We're watching the gap here. Looks like Tristan Allen got a better exit than Troy Salter, and it may be a done deal for Troy Salter, sitting where he might as well finish now, 4th place. The cross flags are waving. Troy Salter does pit. That's right, he was on the older tires compared to the rest of the field. So let's see what happens here. Halfway has been shown, displayed to the race leader, Dan Park. Joshua Ballier 2nd, Tristan Allen 3rd. Troy Salter in the pits right now in 4th. Tyler Markle overtakes him. He was in 5th, but now Tyler Markle up to 4th. Troy Salter sitting in pit lane now in 5th. Now down to 6th. Steve Cross takes 5th. I'm going to assume Brian Glennon pitted or just did not get up to speed quick enough. Steve Cross now sitting pretty in 5th. Now on board for race leader Dan Park. Now he's got to be perfect because he knows his teammate Joshua Ballier is faster than him. But actually Dan Park doesn't have to worry too much because if he doesn't know, he might know, but if he doesn't know, Joshua Ballier has 6 seconds worth of time penalties. Actually, maybe 9. We'd have to check on that. But so Dan Park, who's actually opened up a little bit more gap to Joshua Ballier as we've been talking about it, doesn't really have to worry because if Ballier passes him, as long as Ballier does not get a 6-second gap on Dan Park, Dan will be good to go. And Dan sets a 114.408 on the Ultrasoft compound from McLaren Honda Formula 1 team. Fastest lap of the race, lap 36, the lap right after halfway. 6 viewers, welcome everybody to the live stream. Here we are at EWRL Season 3's Canadian Grand Prix at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve at Montreal, Quebec, Canada. An island sat on the east of Montreal and sat on the St. Lawrence River. What a beautiful track. It was raining earlier. If you missed it, the scenery was all gray. But now, back to the beautiful blue skies of Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Dan Park leading with a 6.3 second lead over his teammate Joshua Ballier. Dan Park on the Ultrasoft compound, Joshua Ballier on the Super Soft compound tire. The Ultrasofts are faster but less durable than the Super Softs. And it's Troy Salter and Steve Cross going at it. Teammates, I didn't think Troy Salter did come out around his teammate and was able to get around Steve Cross pretty quickly. Steve Cross is still trying to get the ropes of the series. He's making a second start of the Formula 1 series that EWRL has to offer. Troy Salter has been around the series a little bit longer than... Oh, and he overcooks it! Into the wall he goes out of turn 10 to hairpin on the Casino Straight. He's going to have to fend off his teammate. Of all people he has to fend off. Down Casino Straight. And we have Steve Cross. He's going to be trying to get back around his teammate, but I don't think he'll be able to unless there's another mistake. And a 3-second time penalty for Steve Cross. Just to add on to his woes. He went a lap down earlier, but a timely safety car for him on lap 27 with Canadian native Kyle Petrie from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, wrecked out on the short chute between turns 7 and 8. He wrecked out there, and that brought out a safety car on lap 27. A couple laps prior, Steve Cross got lapped. He got lapped on lap 25 to Dan Park, and he was able to get his lap back by just knowing the rule and being the first car behind the safety car after Dan and Joshua pitted. He stayed out, got behind the safety car, got his lap back, and he was able to somewhat get back into contention for the race. But he's not had the best of races. Again, it was 25 laps before he got lapped, and who's to say it won't take another 25 for him to get lapped again. But he's slowly getting acclimatized to the series, getting acclimatized to the track. It's a fun track. It's an easy track. I just don't think Steve Cross has had the exposure he has had to league racing or such competitive racing as this series has to offer. And that's just what's biting him right now. So he'll slowly get acclimatized. The more races, more Grand Prix he enters, the more Grand Prix he does. Troy Salter with the fastest lap as we're watching him, a 1:14.059 on the Ultra Soft compound for Williams Racing. What a lap. And these cars just get faster and faster because if you don't know, Formula 1 cars have a single fuel load that goes the entire race length, and Troy Salter gets into the wall a little bit out of turn 4. That may or may not hurt his tire wear a little bit, but we'll see what happens here from here on out. But F1 cars have a singular fuel load. They don't pit. They pit during the race, but they do not take fuel during those pit stops. They're not allowed to after it became a safety hazard to refuel the cars during the race. So they took fueling out of the equation, and they made these cars run on a single fuel load. And since fuel adds weight to a car, and the car is heavier cars may mean they're slower, so they set slower laps at the beginning of the race than they do at the end of the race if they're on fresh tires. And since Troy Salter just pitted for a fresh set of ultra soft tires, and they've ran already half the race, so they've ran half their fuel load or thereabouts on that much fuel, so that's half as much as the car used to weigh, and that means the car is getting faster. And now that goes throughout the race as people pit for fresher tires, and that means they've used more fuel and faster laps come, and it's just a constant cycle of fastest laps. Right now we're on lap 40 of 70. We're not done with pit stops just yet. Tire wear is great on this game, tire wear is great on this track, but we're not done with pit stops. I feel like everybody in Ultra Softs have to still make another pit stop besides Troy Salter, and we might see another pit stop out of those on the Ultras, or on the Supers, my bad. And we'll just see what happens. I'm no expert on tire strategy here, I can tell you that for sure. But I'm pretty sure everybody on the Ultra Softs besides Troy Salter has to pit once again. And the Super Softs may be able to make it to the end, but that is pushing it. They may have to stay, make another pit stop, and they might have to pit to the Ultra Softs. Now, it did rain early in the race, so the rule of using two different dry compound tires is not put into effect because it did rain for the first 20 laps of this race, or first 15 to 20 laps of this race. So the rule of having to use two different dry compound tires is not in effect for this race. Shall it already have been two different compounds of tires from intermediates to ultra softs anyway. But people have used intermediates to softs, as Kyle Petrie wrecked out on a set of softs. Still feeling for him. Canadian native, making his first start in quite a few Grand Prix. Kyle Petrie, he wrecked out lap 27. It was sad. He made his first start in a while, and he showed strong. He was sitting on the podium at one point, and he just wrecked it right on the straightaway as Troy Salter's going through. It wasn't what we wanted to see. We're now watching Joshua Ballier have about a second and 2/10 over Tristan Allen in the Renault. Turn 13, there's a lot of oversteer on that exit as people are trying to get through the corner without hitting the wall of champions, or get away from the wall of champions because they took the corner wrong. Turn 2, Ballier takes turn 2 a little bit wide that time, and that may be beneficial to Tristan Allen that time. But as I was saying, there's been different strategies. Again, everybody's gone to at least intermediates to ultra softs Tyler Marco's gone from intermediates to ultras to supers because he had to make a second pit stop. He lost control on the ultra softs as the track was still drying out. It was a little bit damp, and he lost control. And I believe Ballier got into the wall off of turn 7 there, and he's in the McLaren. I believe he got into the wall and might have lost part of that left front of the wing. I don't know if it'll hurt him too much. I think he got really close to the wall there off of turn 9. Again, as we mentioned in qualifying, Joshua Ballier's Achilles heel of this track will be turn 9, as it is for a lot of people. It's a treacherous and has a lot of oversteer to the corner on exit, because it's just such an unpredictable corner, especially it was earlier in the race with rain, and it's a very sketchy corner. I don't trust turn 9. And wow, really close to the wall. Champions Ballier is there. Now Tristan Allen may want to start pressing the issue here on Ballier to get him to make more mistakes, because Ballier is making very minimal mistakes, but they're mistakes nonetheless. And I believe they'd get a little bit bigger if he were under pressure from Tristan Allen, as Tristan Allen's already cut it down to less than 0.8 of a second. Now 0.6 of a second. No, it's getting back up. It's updating as of right now. 8 to 9 of a second. Tyler Markle, yet another 3-second time penalty. Multiple warnings yet again for Tyler Markle. He's driving his way back into this race. He was 28 seconds back, but now he's 22 seconds off the lead on the super soft compound. That's a lot of time to make up. He is on the slower compound, but he's on the more durable compound. Does Joshua Ballier and Tyler Markle make it to the end on their set of tires, or do they use their tires too much and do they have to pit for ultras? So strategy is going to start to play out here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Tristan Allen looking to close the gap. He may start to make his overtaking attempts this lap. As you see, they're both so close to that wall. And the back wing open, that means DRS has been enabled on that Renault. So whenever you're within a second of the car in front of you, at selected parts of the track, you're able to open the top half of the rear wing, which gives you a speed advantage. In a sense, it adds more downforce to the car, making the car go faster in a straight line. It's only selected parts of the track, so it's only straightaways. There's 2 straightaways on this track. The Casino Straight and the front stretch are the 2 selected DRS zones for this track. It could be this straightaway, but there was already 2. I believe the limit is 2. I'm not sure if that's a written rule or not, but I believe the limit is 2, or else it probably would be 3 at this track, maybe more. But I don't know. Turn 9 is already sketchy enough, and to put a whole DRS straightaway, that would be a little bit more sketchy. Whoa, the oversteer for both Joshua Ballier and Tristan Allen. Wow, out of turn 10 to hairpin, they were both on it, and I believe the pressure is starting to get to both of them. I believe Allen wants to get around Ballier, and Ballier just wants to keep the damage that he's already done to his race to a minimum, because Ballier has already quite a few time penalties, and he's doubled the gap between his teammate and himself. Or Dan Park has doubled the gap between himself and his teammate Joshua Ballier. And it's just not going Ballier's way already. Here he has time penalties, and now he's under attack from Tristan Allen. Tristan Allen, major oversteer out of turn 4. That's insane. These drivers are battling so much oversteer. But as I was saying, DRS, drag reduction system, that's what it's called. It enables the top half of the rear wing to be open on selected straightaways, and giving the drivers a speed advantage. Increasing downforce gives them about 10 to 12 miles per hour, depending on the straightaway, depending on the track, in the corner before. And whoa, Tristan Allen overcooks him, trying to get any advantage he can to Ballier, and that may as well hurt him in the end. Now down to 0.7 of a second. Does he get a better exit than Ballier? I don't believe so. It's up to 0.8 of a second between those two. Into the chicane yet again. Wall of Champions is very scary looking. As you come through turn 12 and you hop the curb into turn 13, that Wall of Champions is staring you down. And it's now over just over a second now between Ballier and Tristan Allen. This battle, the closest battle we have on the track at the moment. Ballier holding tough. So Ballier continues to lose time to his teammate Dan Park, but Dan Park, he needs to make up 66 points to his teammate Joshua Ballier. And knowing that Ballier, or I don't even know if he does know, but Ballier has time penalties, which will make, at this point, if the race were to end right now, Ballier be sat in third place. And in third place, that would be a 10 point stat Dan gains to Ballier, now making the gap 56 points instead of 66. And that's already helping Dan, because he missed 2 races and then he wrecked out at Monaco, basically making it him lose 3 races. And Tyler Markle into the pit lane. He can't go all the way into that set of supers. What does he do now? Trying to go all the way. 23 laps to go. Oh, he had to fix the front wing here. I guess he had contact from somebody. Possibly Troy. Or no, maybe he just hit the walls. This track does do that to you. And he comes out of the pit lane on the Ultrasoft compound, I believe. Then that means Ultrasoft can make it that far. Does anybody respond? Brian Glennon's getting ready to be lapped here by Dan Park. Lap 48 this time. Brian Glennon will probably be lapped this lap on lap 48. Dan Park gets into the grass a little bit. That is a little bit of a concern, but not too much of a concern. It is a little bit of lag. So around Brian Glennon here. Brian Glennon does not give him an easy way around. Dan Park has to find his way around, and he gets a 3-second time penalty for it. That is not right. He had to fight his way around a lap car. I believe the stewards should review that, but that is not reviewable because it's a video game. So it's a sad situation, but that's not how it should be. Steve Cross does the right thing, moves over. Maybe he can show Brian Glennon a lesson or two on how to be a good lap car. Brian Glennon should be able to be a good lap car since he gets a lot of practice at it. I mean, he's not the fastest. So now 2 lap cars. He lapped 2 cars in the same lap, and Ballier still lost time to Dan Park. Does that have something to say? Well, Ballier is still under pressure from Tristan Allen. So we're right on board with Tristan Allen this time, down Casino Straight and into the chicane. Does Tristan Allen have anything for Joshua Ballier, or is he just sitting, lurking like a shark, waiting for a mistake, putting pressure on him? It's now 0.3 of a second between Tristan Allen and Joshua Ballier. They're both taking the track very similar. Allen fighting back, but looks like Ballier is just better through some corners and Allen's better through others. Oh, Tristan Allen puts it into the wall out of turn 7. And Tyler Markle with the fastest lap of a 1:13.664 on the Ultrasoft compound for Renault Sport Formula 1 team. Down the inside goes Tristan Allen, side by side with Ballier. Now they touch through turn 10 onto Casino Straight. Ballier fights back, clears Tristan Allen yet again. Tristan Allen has DRS, has the slipstream down Casino Straight. Looking to make his move into the chicane, does he? Ballier with a very defensive line. That might be reviewed, but I think that was only one defensive move on the straightaway. That's the rule is you can only make one defensive move at a time, and I believe Ballier was right on the boundary of that. That was a dangerous defensive move if it was. But nonetheless, they both survived 21 laps of racing left to go at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Quebec, Canada at Parc Jean Drople. quadruple. I don't even know. I'd have to look it up again. I looked it up, but Tyler Markov, another fastest lap of a 1:13.131 on the ultra soft compound for Renault Sport Formula 1 team. Watching his teammate Tristan Allen do battle with Joshua Ballier here in second place. Under the Rolex sign they go. Treacherous turn 9 did nothing for these two. Through the hairpin of turn 10, hard lock to the right is the wheels. Those steering wheels, that is. And 5 drivers on the lead lap with 20 laps of racing to go at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. I don't know what has to be said for that. But these two drivers are definitely going at it for second place. And I don't know if Tristan Allen knows, but Ballier has a 6, maybe even more seconds worth of time penalties. I'd have to check again. I think it's 9 now. 9 seconds worth of time penalties. No, Ballier's out of there. Ballier's made a huge, took out a huge chunk of the lead from Dan Park, and now a 1:13.093 on the ultra soft compound for Renault Sport Formula 1 team, running a second off qualifying lap times, almost a second and a half, actually closer to 2 seconds off of qualifying lap times, and there's 20 laps remaining in this race. When does everybody else pit for a fresh set of ultras? Now, Tyler Markle was 41 seconds off the lead pace. But if he gets a safety car, he's back in this race. Or is he? This may just work out in Dan Park's favor. Dan Park needs a win, and he needed it bad. At this point, if the race is to finish like this in 19 laps, Dan Park will have 10 points over Joshua Ballier, and Steve Cross of another 3-second time penalty. Multiple warnings is the reason. Joshua Ballier hanging tough in second. 16 seconds back of Dan Park on the ultra soft compound. Joshua Ballier on the super soft and more durable. Does Ballier stay out on the super soft for the rest of the race? Does Dan Park have to pit? What is the gap that Dan Park can pit at that Ballier doesn't? Or that Ballier is able to... what is the gap that Dan Park has to pit at that he maintains the lead? He doesn't have to fight Ballier back. Yeah, I don't even think it matters when Dan Park pits. I think it's just how much time he has to gain on Ballier. Because even if he comes out behind Ballier, I don't think he'll come out behind Ballier enough to where time penalties won't be in effect. Brian Glennon pits, and Tyler Markle with a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. That may be the reasoning behind his fastest laps. And oh, and it goes Joshua Ballier into the pit lane. That was quick. And a caution in sector 1. And around goes Dan Park, your race leader. Slightly. They're fixing the front wing on Ballier's car. That may be it. And that may be all she wrote for Joshua Ballier. Troy Salter into the pits. They're fixing the front wing as well. Putting on ultra softs. Again, I'm going to guess the ultra softs are going to be able to make it to the end here. And Joshua Ballier and Tyler Markle are going to be able to go to battle here. Tyler Markle with more worn tires than Joshua Ballier. But nonetheless, I think Markle's just thrilled to be back into the race. Little bit of oversteer through turn 5 into turn 6 and through turn 7. Ballier gets a better exit than Markle. Markle's just all over the place with oversteer. But Markle's just happy to be back in this thing. Whoa, and Tyler Markle with a lot of oversteer. And Dan Park and Tristan Allen pit. No front wing repairs for Dan Park. Onto the super softs he go. Here comes Tristan Allen. He's going to put on the ultras. Tristan Allen's going to come out right in front of Ballier, and Tyler Markle knows he's going to be battling Ballier on the super soft compound. So Ballier and Tyler Markle on the ultras, Tristan Allen on the supers, and this is a 3-car battle. This is what Dan wanted to see. They're over 8 seconds back. I guess, how did Dan, oh, Dan did spin. That was why he lost 8 seconds of time to, or that's why Ballier, Tristan Allen, and Tyler Markle, well, Tyler Markle, I don't know where he gained that much time from. But he was already on the track. But Tristan Allen and Joshua Ballier were able to gain 8 seconds on Dan. They do not want to waste it battling, but I don't think they have any other choice. Even though Joshua Ballier, even if he crosses the line second, he won't finish this race second. Now he's looking to finish it 4th. And Dan Park was talking, I was talking to Dan Park before the race, and he said, we just got to hope that we win each race from here on out, and Ballier finishes 4th. And looking at this, if the race were to finish right now, Ballier would end up finishing 4th. Whoa, and Tyler Markle into the wall of champions, a slight bit, just a tire rub. They both have DRS enabled, and it looks like it hurts them both, that helps them. Ballier trying to gain anytime he can get back on his teammate. The super soft compound slower than the ultra soft compound, maybe slowing down Tyler Markle a bit. Tyler Markle looking for a way around his teammate Tristan Allen. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but he really thinks he has a chance to get a podium. I feel like he'll get a podium here. Wait, these are battling honestly for second if Ballier's time penalties are more than Tristan Allen's and Tyler Markle's time penalties. Because don't forget, Tyler Markle does have time penalties too. We could be looking at Tyler Markle another 3-second time penalty. That may put him tied or more time penalties than Joshua Ballier now. This time, Ballier will 15 laps of racing remaining in the Canadian Grand Prix at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So, how many time penalties does Tristan Allen have? Because looking that he might just be able to pull out a second from this finish. And Steve Cross, another 3-second time penalty. Cheers to more time penalties. Oh, and around goes Ballier! Did he go off the nose of Tristan Allen? And Tyler Markle's able to get around his teammate Tristan Allen. I think Tristan Allen got to the back, got to the gearbox of Ballier and spun him around, and then he lost a lot of momentum off the exit, and Tyler Markle was able to get the advantage and get to second now. So Ballier in a definite 4th. That helps Dan Park out a lot in the terms of points. That Troy Salter may even be able to get to Ballier and put him in 5th. And what Dan Park wanted was to gain as many points as he can. And if Troy Salter is able to catch Joshua Ballier and Joshua finishes 5th, that is 15 points to the 66-point gap. That puts him 51 points, 2 races and a point out. And he just missed 2 races and he wrecked out a 3rd race. So basically, in terms, he missed 3 races in a sense, but it's only 66 points back. So if Troy Salter can get to Joshua Ballier and beat Ballier, that means Ballier finishing 5th, getting 10 points, and Dan Park getting 25 points for the win. If this all stays the same, and Tristan Allen with 3-second time penalty, this may work out to where both of these have the exact same amount of time penalties, and it goes down to actual physical finishing position. Who wants second more, Tristan Allen or Tyler Markle? It's going to be who battles for it more and who gets less time penalties, because time penalties are really a huge factor, as all these drivers around the board have a lot of time penalties besides Dan Park, who only has 1. So it's not looking pretty for everybody besides Dan Park. But as I was saying, Dan Park getting 25, and if Ballier does finish 5th, right now he's looking 4th, which is still not bad. 4th to 5th. Ballier finishes 4th, that's a 13 points Dan Park gains on him. But if he finishes 5th, that's 15 points Dan gains on Ballier. 13 points puts Dan at 53 points behind Joshua Ballier. And a 5th place for Ballier is he gets passed by Troy Salter. As we're talking about it, if Ballier finishes 5th, that's a 15 points that Dan gains on Ballier, putting him 51, which again is 2 races, 2 full races, which you get 25 points for 1 race win. So 2 race wins and 1 extra point. This could be what Dan Park needs. And into the pit lane goes Joshua Ballier. Is it over? He's just going to be probably fighting for pride here. What can he do? He goes into the pit lane, fixes the front wing, puts on a new set of ultra soft tires. 12 laps remaining. Is he banking that the rest of the drivers have to make another pit stop? So now Tyler Merkel's opened up a gap to Tristan Allen. But the thing is, does Tyler Merkel have more time penalties than Tristan Allen? Either these two kept count, because I haven't kept count. I probably should have. I probably should have some tally marks next week. That's probably what I'll do. Instead of having to pause and look at the race director, because I won't do that. Because this race is already insane. This entire race has been insane to watch, insane to cover. And wow, major oversteer out of turn 13 for Tyler Merkel. Now 12 laps of racing remaining in the Canadian Grand Prix, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Tyler Merkel getting really wide on the exit of turn 2, the Senna S curb, into turn 3. You see Tyler Merkel still on the edge of control as he was from 30 laps ago. 30 laps ago, Tyler Merkel spun and wrecked Kyle Petrie in turn 5 for losing control. 30 laps later, he sat in second place. I think that's an amazing comeback for Tyler Merkel, actually, if he can finish this Grand Prix in second place. Again, it comes down to time penalties and everything, but wow, what a story it would be. For Tyler Merkel personally, for Dan Park, this is good help for him if he can get a 15-point gain out of this race. Oh, and Tyler Merkel getting a massive oversteer on the exit of turn 13. 11 laps remain here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. So Tyler Merkel holding steady over Tristan Allen. Tyler Merkel on the ultra softs. Dan Park who's leading, and Tristan Allen in third behind Tyler Merkel on the super softs. Now Tyler Merkel's on the faster compound, but those tires are much more worn than Tristan Allen's because first of all, he pitted way before Tristan Allen, Joshua Ballier, Troy Salter, and Dan Park pitting. So those tires are already much more worn than the other ultra softs. Second, he was battling super hard against Tristan Allen, which makes his tires wear out more. And third, that the ultra softs just wear more than the super softs. So does the ultra soft compound that Tyler Merkel is on last to the end of the race? Oh, and he puts it into the wall of champions, but not hard enough to give him any damage. And now Tyler Merkel is closing the gap a little bit to Dan Park. It used to be 9 seconds, now it's 8. Is Dan Park losing the lead? Because I don't think even if Tyler Merkel catches Dan Park, and it's a 112.937 on the ultra soft compound for Williams Racing's Troy Salter. I was saying, Tyler Merkel, even if he catches Dan Park, and even if he passes him, I feel like Dan Park will still win this race just because of time penalties. It'll be if that's the case. I doubt that's the case because there is basically this time by will be 9 laps remaining in the race. If that is the case, that means it'll be the second week in a row that the winner, the person who first crossed the finish line physically, did not win the race. If that's the case, again, there's still 9 laps of racing left. There is 9 laps of racing left, and Tyler Merkel would have to gain a second lap and then pass Dan. I just don't see that happening. 9 laps remaining here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Tyler Markle battling a lot of oversteer. Those tires are worn out, and he's driving the car to its extremes. Oh, and he puts it into the wall out of turn 4. I think the battle is back on. Tristan Allen, huge gains through turn 5, and now looking to get any advantage. She'll have a better exit out of turn 7. I can tell you that much. Here comes Tristan Allen along the left side of Tyler Markle. No. Tyler Markle just playing it defensive. I can't see Tristan Allen because the game doesn't give me a good camera view. That's okay. We're now watching Tristan Allen battling back. Does he make the aggressive move? No, he plays it patient. He knows how many laps are left in the race. He's going to let Tyler Markle make another mistake. He's not going to force him to make a mistake, or he's not going to make a mistake of himself, causing him to lose any chance he has of physically beating Tyler Markle. Though, I think it just may be that Tristan Allen already beats Tyler Markle on time penalties. Here comes Tyler Markle. Those Ultra Softs will not last. Do the Super Softs last is the question. I believe they do. So Tyler Markle into the pit lane. What does he take? Another set of ultra soft tires, and he fixes the front wing. Troy Salter the third. And Tyler Markle comes out about 14 seconds ahead of Joshua Ballier. Troy Salter sitting pretty in third, looking for another podium. And now the gaps are so spread apart that I believe time penalties don't even play a factor into the finishing result of this race. But we'll see what happens. Dan Park, we haven't talked about this guy much as he's coming down the casino straight as he heads into the final chicane. When he takes us to the finish line this time, it'll be 7 laps to go here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve at the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Dan Park, he's led a great majority of this race. His teammates led the other great majority of this race. It was raining to start off with, a very sketchy transition period, and now a beautiful dry race to end it off. 7 laps remaining here in Montreal. And Dan's just got to bring it home. He's got 9.5 seconds on Tristan Allen now. Into turn 6 he goes. He's just got, he's stellar. Just hit your marks. You're good, Dan. He's just got to bring it home. He's on the super soft compound. Tristan Allen's on the super soft compound. I'm pretty sure both of these compounds will make it to the end of the race. Troy Salter sitting pretty in third. Does he have to pit for another set of ultra soft tires, or does he baby those tires and make it to the end? He's sitting pretty right now in third if he doesn't have to pit. Tyler Markle sitting in fourth. He battled his heart out, but it might have been time penalties that beats him by time anyway. But now he's physically going to finish fourth at this rate. Where is Tyler Markle finish? He's right now sitting pretty steady in fourth. Joshua Bellier's fought back all race. He's had trouble left and right. He's put it in the wall. He's had turn 9 trouble. He's put it on every corner. He's put it in the wall. He's gotten spun by Tristan Allen. It's been all over the place for Joshua Ballier, but he's, yeah, as I said, it's been all over the place. He's been leading this race. He's spun out, but he's in the lead. He's been everywhere. He didn't even spin out from the lead. He spun out from like 5th. He's been all over the place. This race has been everything and nothing for Joshua Ballier. This time by coming around to 5 laps remaining. The main takeaway from Ballier's race is that anything can happen and anything will happen, as that's been shown here in EWRL every race this season. Tyler Markle 112.217 on the Ultra Soft compound for Renault Sport Formula 1 team. As I was saying, EWRL showcases the world's greatest racing, the world's most entertaining racing. And it's just to show that anything can and will happen in EWRL's F1 series. It's now into its 3rd season. 2 full seasons and 7 races into our 3rd. And we're still holding strong. It's been fun racing all through the way. And wow, look what we've got here. It's just races like this on a weekly basis. What more is there to ask? I am the owner of this league, and I enjoy doing this every week. This is what I do. This is what I like to do. I like to broadcast these races. I like to commentate these races because it's fun. It's entertaining. Look at these drivers putting on the show of their lives. driving their hearts out just to showcase their driving, and they're going for wins that don't even matter in a sense of their event is being tallied on a wins list on Facebook. These drivers, they're just great drivers. They're great friends. They drive their asses off. You see how it's going here? They drove it so hard. This is what we're left with 5 laps remaining here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Dan Park drives it off the hairpin, coming around this time by to take 4 laps remaining. He's coming down Casino Straight into the chicane. Nice and smooth, not even close to the wall of champions. Doesn't even touch the rumble strips on the exit. 4 laps remaining here in the Canadian Grand Prix. Does Troy Salter have the tires to drive up to Tristan Allen? How many time penalties does Tristan Allen have compared to Troy Salter? And a 1:11.920 on the ultra soft compound from Renault Sport Formula 1 team, Tyler Markle. Wow. We are now setting lap times tenths, just tenths, off of the pole time in qualifying. Again, as I said, F1 cars have a single fuel load that used throughout the race. Fuel adds weight to the car, and at the end of the race, that means there's very little fuel in the car, and that means that the car is much lighter and is able to go much faster, just like they are in qualifying. Doesn't get better than this. But now Troy Salter is now 4.5 seconds back. He has 3 laps remaining. Does he have the car? Does he have the will? Does he have the tires to drive up to Tristan Allen to get to him? It's now 3.5 seconds. Time penalties may work in Troy Salter's favor to give him a second place, more points. What happens here for Troy Salter? If Troy Salter is able to get up to Tristan Allen, it's 3 seconds now with 3 laps remaining. And Steve Cross yet another 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Race controls, they've been working today. They've been giving out penalties left and right like they're NFL refs. And the gap is now 2 seconds. Troy Salter is driving so fast, he's gained over a second this lap, and a caution in Sector 1. Around goes Joshua Ballier yet again. Just finish it out, bud. Finish it out. Troy Salter, man, if he had some more time, he'd be up there. 2 laps remaining in the Canadian Grand Prix, and it's going to come down to Tristan Allen and Troy Salter. For who wants second more? Who's going to physically cross the line second, and what time penalties are going to put which driver in second and which driver in third? Time penalties are going to be taken into account, definitely. The gap is now just over a second. There's 2 laps remaining. Wow, Troy Salter is driving it. He wants second. He knew that maybe there's 2 laps remaining, maybe there's 4 laps remaining, but this race ain't over. I can still drive, I can still get him. And he's going for it. He's digging deep. He's on the faster compound. But can those tires last to the end? He's got to make it. He's got to keep those tires under 80% on tire wear, or those tires may be done popped. The gap is over 1.5 seconds. Does Troy Salter have the will, the time to get to Tristan Allen and pass him? He may be losing time here. Does he get the exit off of the hairpin? He does not have DRS just yet, but he's going to be driving. He's going to be going for it. Last lap of the Canadian Grand Prix. Last lap started by Dan Park. I don't know if Troy Salter's going to get there, but he did drive it hard to get up to him. Gap is now just under 1.5 seconds. If Tristan Allen makes one big mistake, one decent sized mistake, one even maybe small mistake at this point, it's now to 1 second. If Tristan Allen makes one mistake, he just loses second physically. Now it's time penalties that's going to determine who finishes second and who finishes third. Dan Park now down to casino straightaway for the final time. Now under 1 second between Tristan Allen and Troy Salter. Tyler Markle with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Dan Park off the final corner. He comes to the start finish line and he will win the Canadian Grand Prix. The battle for second is heating up. Tristan Allen, Troy Salter. Troy Salter's going to try to get there 0.6 of a second, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to drive it in there. He's going to put it into the wall of champions, and it's not going to be enough. Tristan Allen takes second, Troy Salter third. Wow, what a battle to the end. Here comes Tyler Markle trying to come home and finish fourth. Down the front straightaway, he'll do so. And thus Tristan Allen does hold on to second via time penalties. Tristan Allen finishes second, Troy Salter finishes third, Tyler Markle finishes fourth. Joshua Ballier. Coming into the chicane. And he will finish P5. Your podium celebration. Wow, look at the time penalties everybody has. Dan Park with 6, Tristan Allen with 3. Actually, Tristan Allen had one of the cleanest races. Tristan Allen with 3. You see Troy Salter with 9, Tyler Markle with 15, Joshua Ballier with 6, Brian Glennon with 3, and Steve Cross with 18 seconds worth of time penalties. Actually, it's 31 points, the gap between Dan Park and Joshua Ballier. What a huge gain it was for him. Alright, well thanks for watching the Canadian Grand Prix at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve here in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. It was a pleasure to have you. It was a pleasure to broadcast to you some of the world's greatest racing. We'll see you next week at Azerbaijan for the Baku European Grand Prix.